So, just so that you guys know, I've had a regular job my whole competitive career. I've worked in the beer business the last 18 years, and December 31st was my last day with Nevada Beverage, which is the Budweiser distributorship here in Vegas. I was in charge of the sales team that called on all the hotels and casinos. And so I had to let that go and let my professional career go for this opportunity. This opportunity though, because I'm not working 60 hours a week anymore, I'm filming the show and then I have downtime, will probably extend my competitive career probably easy another 5 to 10 years, because I'm not burning the candle at both ends anymore, and I'm able to rest. I'm able to have better access to rehabilitation processes and stuff like that, and you get a lot more attention and a lot more help. So it's definitely going to extend my competitive career. And I mean, I've been lifting weights since 1984. I've been competing in powerlifting since '86, you know, and I started competing in strongman in 2004. So I've been lifting weights for over 4 decades now. So it'll be fun to still be at a high competitive level here, possibly reaching into my 5th decade in a few years. The reception at the Olympia, literally out of control. I mean, I've never experienced anything like that. I mean, it's just people constantly coming up and telling you how much they love the show and how hard we work and how we never give up. And it was a really cool and really neat experience to see people appreciate what we did. It is a little overwhelming though, but you get used to it. And you know, it gives me an opportunity to connect with people, which is a lot of fun. And you know, without them and without you, we don't have a TV show. So it's kind of neat to give back like that. So it was a lot of fun. It's been amazing being on a TV show. It really has. Getting to go bring back to life some of these old time strongmen that most people have forgotten about, especially like this last generation. Because if it wasn't, you know, on Google or YouTube or whatever, a lot of them don't know these old time guys. They don't really know how to go look them up. So it's really neat being on a TV show where we go do that and do the feats of strength that made them famous. And, you know, Brian, Eddie, you know, myself and Robbie, we all have our different strengths and weaknesses and stuff like that. Well, Brian really doesn't have any weaknesses, but we all have our different strengths and weaknesses. And it's kind of fun how one guy will shine on one thing and another guy will shine on another thing. And it's just fun, the camaraderie, how they tease each other, they tease me, God knows they tease me. But it's just a lot of fun, it really is. And I'm looking forward to doing it again. Hopefully the History Channel gives it the green light and we get rolling again, but it's been an amazing experience. A lot of behind the scenes stuff that got cut, that didn't make the actual shows, that are now up on YouTube. So the History Channel was smart and still put that stuff up there. So go look for it, because some of it's funny. There was a thing where Robbie and I went to go make mead, and I'm like trying to figure out, you know, I want to be a student of it, so I want to do it the right way. Robbie just wants to throw all the ingredients in a thing and get going, and how that all turned out, that's on there. That's really funny. I mean, Oberst can really just run away with things at times. It's like, no, dude, we got to read the recipe. But I had a great time. Eddie and I had a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun with Brian. You know, some of the stuff with Brian, and a couple times the guys would get mad at me, like on one of the loading events. I don't know what I just thought to put on knee sleeves, so I didn't bang up my knees, but I didn't tell the guys, and I didn't bang up my knees, and they did. They got a little mad at me. I felt bad for it, but stuff like that. I tell you what though, it's amazing to see some of the things. I mean, watching Brian pick up the cannon was probably one of the biggest, most amazing feats of strength I've ever seen. I mean, he was the only one of us that could shoulder it, much less walk the way he did with it, full well knowing he was built just like Peter Francisco. So that was just amazing. The hip lift that I got to do, for Paul at Paul Anderson's ranch for his home for you young boys and at-risk boys. That was one of the most amazing things to me, because I look up to Paul Anderson, always have. So it was kind of like surreal doing it there on his property. So that was really cool, and doing it with his family there. And I mean, his daughter, his wife, his grandkids, they were all on the carousel. And I don't know if people realize that when we were doing the show, but most of his kids and family were on that carousel. So that was really cool. The Silver Dollar Squat was a lot of fun, getting to do the Vikings thing. I mean, every show had just so much amazing character and fun, and just, it's hard to just really explain how much fun it was, but it was a blast, and it was a very big blessing. I'm very excited I got to be a part of it. I really did enjoy burning that piano though. I really did, setting that thing on fire and just letting it go. And then the best part though was throwing which you don't see, is I took the lighter fluid can, it actually was a plastic bottle, and I threw it into the fire. And Eddie freaked out thinking it was gonna explode. That part was really funny. He's kind of mad at me about that. But it was a lot of fun. I got a drinking problem. Missed the mouth. But yeah, it was good times. It really was, and really kind of missed the guys. It was good seeing Brian yesterday, give him a big hug, and it's like, dude, I missed you. I haven't seen you. He's like, I know. So he's like, you gotta call me more. I'm like, okay. So, you know, it's just stuff like that. But everybody's busy doing their own thing right now, and then as soon as we come together on production, we'll be good to go again. But it's a lot of fun, and getting to go and represent Performax yesterday, and walk around the expo and meet people, and it was just surreal. And then walking up and talking to Ken Shamrock was really cool, and then, you know, getting to take pictures with him. And then I'm just standing there in the middle of an interview, and Robert Oberst is really good friends with Bill Goldberg, and Bill Goldberg was like 10 feet away and finishes what he's doing, sees me and comes over and jumps into the interview. That was absolutely surreal, because I mean, I was a big fan of professional wrestling, and watching him go, so that was really cool. It was one of the coolest things I think that's happened. So it's just so much fun, and feel very blessed, and it really brings together all the hard work I've done over the last 36 years, just between powerlifting and strongman and everything else. So it was a lot of fun. I really feel accomplished. The great thing about being on The Strongest Man in History is, in the United States, there's a strongman culture. You know, boy, I'm doing good. Bill Kazmaier's won 3, Brian's won 4, but it's still just not that popular here. We have the NFL, baseball, all the big professional sports, but in Europe, they don't. And it's a much bigger sport in England and all through Europe. So you walk around in Europe and you're almost like a rock star. Then you come here and, I mean, you're just some other big dude walking down the street. With this show though, the impact on it and the impact on our sport is gonna be so much better here, because it's gonna give more opportunity to bring it to the highlight. It'll get it on TV more, just in the sport in general. And I think it'll really help in the long run. I think the one thing on the show that really kind of caught me off guard was the piano carry. I didn't think it was gonna be that bad, because the weight wasn't that heavy. It was like 600 pounds. And when you're used to running with a 1,000-pound yoke on your back, the weight's not the issue. What I wasn't really prepared for was the harness that they put on us. Even the harness loose wouldn't have been bad, but the harness where they put the strap to go across the chest on me caught me off guard, because it got cinched down kind of tight and I just couldn't breathe. And that's probably the first time I've ever been actually kind of scared doing an event, because I literally could not breathe. The moment they got that strap undone and I could actually take a full lung of air, within probably 30 seconds, I was like ready to go again. And of course, they were like, no, you're done. Sorry, have a seat. But that was probably, out of all the things, that caught me off guard the most. The show itself was very unscripted. I mean, we knew where we were going. We knew who we were doing history on. We had to read up on the person, stuff like that. But a lot of the stuff was pretty unscripted. Hey, we're going here, we're doing this. And then what, and then what we ended up doing is what we ended up doing. And there wasn't really a whole lot of scripted stuff on it. Eddie's very creative. God knows Robbie's extremely creative, and Brian's also, and we've all been on TV in different ways, in different shows. And now through that experience with all the spotlight being on all four of us, we all just kind of shine through, and it wasn't a very difficult transition for any of us. I mean, Eddie's got all kinds of stuff going on now. He's in the middle of filming Eddie 2 right now, because he's got a Eddie that was on Netflix. Now he's in the middle of filming Eddie 2, and then I don't know if I'm supposed to say it or not, but I think he's gonna be in one of the Expendable movies too. So, and then Eddie Eats America, and he's got a ton of stuff going on. And then Brian, of course, his competition schedule and his training, and then a few other shows. He was on a couple of the shows with Eddie as well. So Robbie and I filmed a pilot about 5 years ago together. So we have a lot of experience working in front of the camera together. So it wasn't a very difficult transition for any of us. So it was a lot of fun. My advice to a lot of the younger lifters and more experienced lifters that are still competing or getting into competing is Rome was not built in a day. You have to have patience to do this. This is a grind. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. A lot of the guys that you see come up and just explode into the scene, they explode in, they get up to a fairly high level, then you usually see them break, then you see them come back a little bit, then break again, and then they're gone. This is a long road. Don't be in a hurry to get there. I constantly explain to people, yeah, you want to push, but getting up to 95, 100% of your max every time you're working out, you're going to break. You're not going to be able to do it. You're going to hit a wall and you're not going to make any progress. Well, to close out, I want to thank Performax for being behind me for the years. They have great products. The Hypermax, people ask me how I get the energy to still do this at 50 years old. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, between a half and a full scoop of Hypermax is what gets me through the workouts. The E-aminos are great for when you're training. You can drink it during training and drink it right after your training to help in recovery, and it also helps in hydration. So those are the two things that I use the most from them, and I definitely recommend you do it as well. And just wanted to say thank you.